Elliot Rodgers' mass murder plot had come together over the course of the past year.
6 of its students dead. The University of California, Santa Barbra community is in mourning.
Rodgers' 2 roommates, James Cheng-Yuan Hong and George Chen, along with their friend, Weihan Wang, all stabbed to death in this apartment building.
Know why this happened to our son. It is crazy. This just doesn't make any sense.
Hey, Elliot Roger here. I'm up in the hills in Montecito right now. It's truly a beautiful day, but as I've always said, a beautiful environment is the darkest hell if you have to experience it all alone.
This right here is Elliot Rodgers. Today we will be looking at who he killed, why he killed them, and who he was as a person. You, yes you, dear friend, take my hand into the dark side as we understand the reason behind the madness.
Beautiful day, but as I've always said,
Elliot Oliver Robinson Roger, aka Killer Virgin, aka Isla Vista Killer, aka King of the Incels, aka the
ultimate gentleman.
Before we go into who he killed, why he killed them, and his motive behind killing them, just a little backstory. Elliot Rodgers was born in London, England with his mother Lee Chen and his father Peter Rodgers. When Elliot was the age of 5, his family moved to Los Angeles, California so Elliot's father Peter could pursue his career in filmmaking. At age 7, his mother and father would divorce, allowing Elliot to see his mother on weekdays and his father only on weekends. Elliot never had a lot of confidence. He was usually shy and timid. 2 months after his 7th birthday, Elliot's dad would remarry to now Elliot's stepmom, Samaya Akaboon. Her and Elliot would never get along, with Elliot saying he doesn't take discipline from outsiders. In his mid-teens, he started uploading videos to YouTube talking about his loneliness and reminiscing on his childhood. At age 18, now having no friends and no girlfriends, this is another big part into his story, he would change everything about himself, basically becoming a new person. When Elliot became 19, he moved to Isla Vista, in which he attended Santa Barbara City College. His long-term childhood friend, who he'd known for years, called off his friendship after he said Elliot was too radical and negative. Now Elliot was truly alone with no friends or girlfriend. He went to Best Buy one afternoon to buy a new computer because of the damage he caused to his previous one from spilling too much wine on the computer. While in Best Buy, he saw a shooting range, which he had the bright idea to test out some firearms. It was at this point he came to the conclusion that humans are brutal animals, and if he can't live amongst them, they must all die. He bought a Glock 34 pistol in November that same year, and during his spring break, he purchased a P.226. Yeah, so it was at this point that shit got from bad to even worse. On July 20th, 2013, Elliot would attend a party where he tried to hook up with girls, hoping he would have some naughty time with them. Him being drunk, he went outside on the ledge where he would try and flirt with these girls, which led to an argument, which also led to Elliot trying to push these girls off the ledge, which also led to him being pushed off the ledge. Adding insult to injury, he then got his ass beat by 3 niggas. After this, his dad picked him up, Elliot crying his eyes out. He claimed he would get vengeance on these men, vowing he would kill them, kill everyone, and then kill himself. This is what pushed him over the cliff to start planning his day of retribution. The day everyone
It's broken!
His plan. On the day before the day of retribution, I will start the first phase of my vengeance, silently killing as many people as I can around Isla Vista by luring them into my apartment through some form of trickery. The first people I would have to kill are my 2 housemates to secure the entire apartment for myself as my personal torture and killing chamber. After that, I will start luring people into my apartment, knock them out with hammer, and split their throats. I will torture some of the good-looking people before I kill them, assuming that the good-looking ones had the best sex lives. The second phase will take place on the day of Retribution itself, just because the climactic massacre. The second phase will represent my war on women. I will punish all females for the crime of depriving me of sex. They have starved me of sex my entire youth and gave that pleasure to other men. In doing so, they took many years of my life away. I cannot kill every single female on earth, but I can deliver a devastating blow that will shake all of them to the core of their wicked hearts. I will attack the very girls who represent everything I hate in the female gender, the hottest sorority of UCSB. After doing a lot of extensive research within the last year, I will sneak into their house around 9 p.m. on the day of Retribution, just before all of the partying starts, and slaughter every single one of them with my gun and knives. If I have time, I will set their whole house on fire. If he didn't go away on that trip, I might even have to postpone the whole plan because of my fear I will hesitate if I have to kill him. Once I've taken care of my brother and stepmom, I will switch over to the Mercedes SUV and drive it back up to Isla Vista. I will use it as one of my killing machines against my enemies. An SUV will cause a lot more damage than my BMW coupe. So in that part of his plan, he was talking about killing his stepmother and brother. You remember at the start of the story when I told you that he didn't like his stepmom because he hated taking discipline from an outsider? This was a main reason for him wanting to kill her. He thought she was too strict or she was too disciplined. So he said, I'm gonna kill that bitch. And for his brother, he wanted to kill his brother because he was scared that his brother would surpass him as a man. I will quickly get into my SUV before the police arrive, assuming they would arrive within 3 minutes. I will then make my way to De La Playa, splattering as many of my enemies as I can with the SUV, and shooting anyone I don't splatter. I can only imagine how sweet it will be to ram the SUV into all those group of popular young people who I've always witnessed walking right in the middle of the road as if they are better than everyone else. When they are writhing in pain, their bodies broken and dying after I splatter them, they will fully realize their crimes. May 23rd. 2014. This is the day of Retribution. This is the day Elliot will put forward his plan into making sure everyone feels his inner pain. This part gets tragic, so I'm gonna serious up real quick. So after the plan to kill his stepmom and brother failed, he then resorted back to the next step, which was killing his housemates. At the time, he lived with 2 housemates, but because one of the housemates' friends returned to visit them, there were 3 housemates in the apartment at the time. Unluckily, he also got killed in the process. His name was Weihan Wang, who Elliot stabbed 15 times. After him, Elliot then went to the other room the other friend was in, stabbed him, also known as Cheng-Yuan Hong, 25 times. After stabbing him 25 times, Elliot then went and killed George Chen, stabbing him 94 times. Could you imagine getting stabbed 94 fucking times? That's just brutal. That's fucking insane. So his next step was to lure people in the house, but his former trickery didn't work, so no one obviously came into this apartment. So, you know, your next step after failing your plan to kill other people, and your next step after having killed other people, just go buy some Starbucks coffee. So that's exactly what he did. And then around 9:17 p.m., he uploaded this YouTube video, which he called Elliot Roger's Retribution, which was his last and final YouTube video.
Hi, Elliot Roger here. Well, this is my last video. It all has to come to this. Tomorrow is the day of Retribution. The day in which I will have my revenge against humanity, against all of you. For the last 8 years of my life, ever since I've hit puberty, I've been forced to endure an existence of loneliness, rejection, and unfulfilled desires, all because girls have never been attracted to me.
When he returned home, he uploaded the YouTube video and then emailed over a dozen of his friends and family his 127-page manifesto. So his next step was he headed to the Alpha Phi sorority house, which he tried to get in. He knocked on the door a couple times. No one was letting him in. What he decided to do, he spotted 3 girls walking outside on that same street, aimed his gun at them and shot them. He wounded Bianca Deacock and killed Veronika Weiss. He then drove to Pardell Road. Getting out the car on foot, he fired several rounds into Isla Vista Deli Mart, killing a student named Christopher Martinez. After he drove off, he continued his rampage, shooting at 7 pedestrians while hitting others with his BMW. Near Little Acon Park, Elliot and 3 first responders got into a gunfight, with Elliot suffering a gunshot wound to the hip, then started speeding off. After he was running from the cops, he still managed to crash into a cyclist, eventually crashing his own car. With nowhere to go, he figured the only place to go is into Lucifer's hot, fiery furnace, ending his own life. That was the end of Elliot Rodgers. Well, ladies and gentlemen, this is the end of our journey. It was truly an interesting journey into the reason behind the madness. My condolences go out to the family members that lost their children, lost their loved ones. They didn't deserve to be gone so soon. How could an inferior, ugly black boy be able to get a white girl and not me? I am beautiful and I am half white myself. From British aristocrats, he is a descendant from slave. Nigga, what?